Welcome back, everyone, to episode 2 of Show and Tell. This is a show where I would like to highlight the driving forces behind the Magic the Gathering community and what really kind of makes it tick in a lot of ways. Today, I am joined by the one and only cosplayer, streamer, singer, comedian, parodist, the man who probably needs no introduction, Veggie Wagon. Veggie, thank you so much for joining me on this crazy little show of mine. How are you doing today?
Are you kidding? This is my pleasure. I'm feeling pretty great. Uh I feel like there's a million things going on all at once, but they're all good things. So, you know, that's definitely not the worst feeling to have.
Hey, as long as they're good things, good things, more good things are always better than bad things, which is an obvious statement. But hey, what can you do? So, Veggie, thrilled to be able to talk to you and kind of talk about your experience as a Magic content creator. I like to look at you as a rising comet in the kind of Magic the Gathering community. Kind of your trajectory has been this nice like exponential curve, and it's been awesome to see. Uh, so I really, I like to start at the beginning of shows. So talk to me about your Magic the Gathering origin story. Magic is, I think, one of those games a lot of people, they try it out, and I don't think it's a game you play consistently all of your life, but you kind of always come back to it. It's like, you always, at the end of the day, it's always going to be there for you. So tell me, like, so what when did you discover Magic, and what got you playing?
Well, it was a group of friends that I had in middle school. Uh we'd already been playing Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. Um and they were like, we have this other game. And I'd heard about Magic the Gathering uh before, and around that time, when I was that age, we won't talk about when that was, but um it still definitely had that like stigma, that like Dungeons and Dragons had too, where it was like, oh, that's like, oh, that's real nerdy. And just kind of the weird kids that do that. So I was like, yeah, let's check it out. um and so I don't I honestly couldn't tell you what like clicked with it. um but maybe just that it was a better game than what I've been playing up to that point. But I was just like, yeah, this is it. Um, I tried and failed for a while to recreate decks that I was playing in Yu-Gi-Oh, in Magic. Um, but it was just like everything else kind of dropped off after that point. Um, it just like hit this perfect storm of, I liked the game. I had free time. All of my friends were playing it. Um, yeah, they. I blame them because they got me started in blue.
Mm.
Maybe because at that point that was bad, and everybody was like, "Oh, this color's terrible." But I don't know. I don't know. I was like, this is a lot of fun. This is all the weird like tricks and goofy stuff, and then here we are. Um, and you said you kind of nailed it, saying like, yeah, you it's always this game is always there for you, but you like fall in and out of it. Um, like I played all through middle school. I played all through high school. Went to college, and like, still played when I had the chance. Like if I was, back with that group of friends, um, but I was not keeping up with anything. I wasn't like buying any new cards, or, looking at what sets were coming out or anything like that. Um, and really, that's how it stayed up until MTG Arena came out, because it was just like, I I I wasn't really going to like game stores to play with people. It was just something like I enjoyed with my friends specifically. Um, and then there was this brand new avenue to play uh the competitive formats that I had always wanted to play but didn't have the money or the time to dedicate to like grinding standard or something like that. And so really the release of Arena brought me back into it, and that's kind of where things took off, because then I just, something happened where I had a whole bunch of free time. Uh, Something in the world happened. I had yeah,
Yeah,
had all
what
this
could
time to
that be?
dedicate to it,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah.
have no idea, but yeah, that's the kind of long short version of me getting into Magic and then like getting back into it pretty heavily recently.
Yeah, I think Arena probably brought a lot of people back into the game. I know for me, I had played on and off since middle school as well, which I have a feeling my middle school might have been even more further in the past than your middle school. Um, but for the same sort of thing, like you kind of play, and I played out through a little bit in high school, and I went to college and I met new friends, and they played Magic, so we were into it a lot then. And you take a break, and then I just remember thinking like, man, it'd be cool to be able to play Magic online. Not literally, I mean, Magic Online existed, and I knew it existed, but I was like, I wonder if there was like a better way to play. And then I just had happened, like I looked, and Arena was just like in open beta, and um, got into that, started playing there, and then Dominaria had just come out, and yeah, again, it has a way to pull you back in, um, with each new set, and it's it's nice because so many people play. There's always ways to find new play groups and new people to play with. I think there's a lot of other games um, out there that I have played that don't exist anymore. So Magic, kind of being able to come back to Magic, and I know for me, especially finding Commander, I always joke that Commander is kind of how I always thought Magic should be played. I used to play, I guess, tool. I never play. I didn't know what standard or modern or I guess even back in type 2 or type 1 was when I was playing, and I was literally a kitchen top player. So we would just jam whatever cards we had into our decks. So Commander for me really felt like, oh, this is like my format. This is what I've been looking for. So that was kind of cool coming back to and finding that as a way to use a bunch of cards that I had that may not be super competitive for like a modern deck or whatever, but as a way to like be a little more creative with what you're playing with. Uh, I know you kind of play. I know you play Commander, but I know you play a lot of streaming on stream. I think you play. Is it standard? You play a lot of standard. I don't try to recall like what's your I guess outside of Commander, like what formats do you like to play?
Um, my Probably my favorite format, the one that I play the most on stream, is limited. I I always loved to draft, um, and that's honestly one of the big reasons that like Arena pulled me in so strongly, was that getting a draft together like took a lot of planning uh before, because you had to find enough friends that were free, and that's like a big time commitment. It wasn't just like, oh, we're just gonna jam some games with whatever decks we had on hand. You had to sit down and do the thing. And then yeah, and then suddenly I had drafts
Yeah.
whenever I wanted, as many times as I wanted, which was so dangerous. But yeah, I love limited, and is probably my most competitive format too. Like, if you I'm pretty decent. And then standard is probably uh my second most, because when I was learning Magic, I'd I always kept up with that kind of thing, uh with like type 2 and the big like pro tour tournaments and things like that. And that's like what I that's what I dreamed of, was like, oh, you know, so it, I wasn't good, and I did not play those formats because I didn't have the money or the time, or honestly, like the people available to play that with, or anything like that. But I always wanted to, and so again, Arena just gave me that avenue to, yeah, some people will argue with me, me saying this, but it was a pretty budget way to indulge in those formats.
Yeah.
And like, oh, you know, I just want to build this. I want to build this top tier deck and test that out. I want to build this experimental thing that I've been working on and test that out. And I could just do it with like on hand super easily. Um, yeah. I don't know. Now like I feel like I'm like chilling for Arena right now. But honestly, that's like hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah, there you
Uh
go.
not sponsored at all. You know, hey, but I could be.
Hey, you
It-
on your way. You're on
yeah,
your way there.
right.
Let's get Veggie an Arena sponsorship.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arena. It's interesting. I know there's, and I'm not the one to figure out or solve the arena economy problem. I think on a micro level, the arena economy or the arena format with like wild cards is nice because you know you don't have to spend, if there's a card that you need to play a mythic and it's like 30 or 40, $50, you don't have to drop $200. It's 4 wild cards. Um,
Right.
though I think on a macro level, there's probably some things they could work out that might be a little better for the players
Yeah.
involved. Yeah. So, but
I guess I should give this it's a little bit different for me as a primary like limited player, uh because I can build my collection while playing the way that I want, and I I am good enough where I can roll over like a draft into another draft, and it's not costing me any money. So like I can put in a pretty small like investment early into a set, just roll off of that to build up a collection and a bunch of wild cards off of playing well limited. So a lot of those struggles that most people have for Arena, like I'm too good for. No, it, you know, it I don't have quite the same issues because of that specific thing. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I used the most powerful wild card, the credit card, when I first started playing. So I amassed a decent little collection to start. So now I play a bunch of historic, and I just kind of roll through the dailies, and I think I have like 100,000 gold just like chilling. Um, I haven't really, I don't, haven't kept up with standard. Alchemy, I haven't really dipped my toe in. I've been digging. I usually just play historic brawl. That's kind of my go-to.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, limited. I was never a limited guy. I guess because I never really had like a bunch of people to play with or like the money to buy packs. So I could understand
Yeah.
someone who, you know, liked limited and had that limitation. No, I guess no pun intended. Being able to play just kind of whenever through the arena client must be pretty cool. So, talk to me about the cosplaying and the parodies. I so your first parody was a spin off on the Fairly Odd Parents song. What? How do you go from what? How? What was the inspiration? What got you? What was like? Where did you go? You know what? I could take this song. I can make it about magic.
um I'm very is it in my heart. Sometimes you just find inspiration off of a tiny thing, and it just explodes into your like, just, oh, okay, now I hear this part, this can be this can be this. Um for that one in particular, um I know exactly what I know exactly how it happened. All it was, I saw the card Gilded Goose
Okay.
from Throne of Eldraine, and the Fairly Odd Parents theme popped into my head. Um, and the line towards the end where he says "rubber goose," and I was like, well, thanks, brain. Um, I guess that's where we're at right now. And I was like, wait, this would be I think this would be really funny because there was just especially that portion at the end. He's just saying different random objects, and I was like, all right, well that's easy. Like I could just even if I just did that part of the song, I could definitely find different magic cards that would fit in that, and it spiraled from there. And I was like, okay, but I can't just do the end of the song. Now we've got to do the whole song. But what's the thing? How does that work? Like, um, I have some experience, I guess you would call it, doing parodies because I'd always written them as a kid. Um,
Oh.
I loved Weird Al, still do. Um, and I was always inspired to like write my own things from that. So like, if you found my old like childhood PC, it's probably like half taken up with just different like text documents of half written parodies. Um, and then a couple years ago, I was in a karaoke league where
Wait a minute.
you would
Karaoke
do
League? Oh my gosh, this sounds amazing.
yeah.
Please go on.
Yeah, it was pretty fantastic. You had a team, and your team would karaoke against another team every week. Um
Wow.
and people took it pretty seriously, like in the best way.
Yeah.
Uh so people go all out, and it might be like, oh, somebody came in full cosplay to sing, Total Eclipse of the Heart, but they're
Gosh.
I don't know, they're Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh, like playing it. Or and then I found the opportunity, oh, I can do parodies of songs and sing them to the karaoke tracks, and that was great. And so I've been doing that, and that's always been something that's like in my brain. And so for that first one, I was already in that mindset, and it was just like, boom, it literally just like blew up inside my brain and was like, all right, let's quickly write this. um and then I don't know, I was like, I guess I need to put it somewhere. And I think the first place I uploaded that was to TikTok, as my very first TikTok video. um because I it was probably just boredom, because I was still, middle of quarantine, middle of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I was like, let's just put it out there, because I have a lot of fun putting it together, and it entertains me. So maybe some other people out there will find it funny and entertaining.
Well, I did that. That it's funny. The things we come up with during quarantine. I think at the beginning of quarantine, I did this like self-portrait photo series where I pretended to be like a fisherman, like in the middle of the ocean that is abducted by an alien or something. I don't know. You get stuck inside and you get a little stir crazy, so you got to find ways to pass the time. But
Right.
um, so okay, so much to unpack here with karaoke leagues and Fairly Odd Parents. Uh, so the parody song, when you write parody songs, do you find that you're hit with inspiration to do these things, or do you kind of seek out songs or topics, or is it kind of a combination of both? Because as someone who um, has like done music stuff, like just writing songs in general can be hard, but to write specific songs as a parody of another song, I feel like there has to be a certain like spark or there. So do you have like a particular process, or do you just wait for the inspiration to come to you, or do you bang your head against the wall till you come up with something? Like, what is that process like for you?
Well, um, I definitely, I definitely have a process, uh, but it is 100% fueled by inspiration. Um, I really struggle to force a parody or force writing anything at all. Like, there's got to be something behind it. Um, so sometimes, like the Fairly Odd Parents video, it just happens, and I'll hear something, um, or see something, and one part of the parody will pop into my head. Like that, it was literally just, oh, the word goose is also in this song and is on a card, and then I just kind of explore from there to see if it works. And sometimes it doesn't. I'll be like listening to a song and like, oh, that that kind of, what they're singing about is kind of like this happening in Magic, and then just no, there's no other connection I can make to it.
Yeah.
And then it can happen in either direction. So sometimes it's just like I'll be playing a game and like play a card, and I was like, oh, wait, that thing, that's fun, that's funny. What song goes with that? And then other times I'll listen to a song and be like, oh, that's well, one, I can sing that, and then two, like that's a great song for parody. What Magic things go along with that? I'm trying to think if I have any good examples of like which ones were created in what way. Um, I Oh, okay. So I did the one, it was I'm Too Sexy,
Hmm.
but as I use proxies, and that one was 100% from the song first. I was like, "Oh, this is like, you know, cl- everybody knows this song. It's prime for parody. Like it's also just speaking, so
Yeah.
very easy to do." And I was like, "Okay." And it's kind of like rolled the words around in my head for a while, and then I'm sure at some point I saw somebody like on Twitter complaining about proxies, and I was like, "Oh, there it is. That's the thing. That's it." And then I don't know. I can't think of a specific example of one coming the other way around. Um, oh, actually, yeah, I can. Just recently, because as part of the Degenerate Gaming team, they asked me if I could put together like some videos for our sponsors,
Hmm.
and so that was I was like, okay, something for them, and then trying to find songs, um, and it was just literally me saying and like thinking the word sponsor for a while. I was like, all right, let me see, does anything rhyme with that? No. uh what sounds kind of close to it, and then uh kind of building from there and ending up with the sponsor mash, which I thought was, I was like, oh, this is really stupid. This is really stupid. It's so simple. But I'm gonna put it together anyway, and I don't know. The rest of the team was like, yeah, actually, this is pretty great. We'll use this.
Oh yeah, simple. I mean, sometimes simple is the better way to go, and I thought
Hmm.
that was brilliant. My wife loves that song in general, and she has no interest in Magic. I was like, "Hey, watch this," and she thought it was hilarious. Um, but it's funny because you know like parody and these parody songs, it's almost like anything else where it takes practice. It's not something you just kind of whip up and either you're good or not. Like as you work on these things, you probably get better ideas of how to construct your ideas and how to take songs and finding the paths to like make an interesting parody. And it's cool like watching people as they kind of start out and as you get better, because it's, it's just like playing basketball. Like you gotta you practice it and you kind of get better, and as you get better you probably make connections faster and it's a little easier to do. But yeah, I've always been blown away about the parody songs in general. Have been one of my favorite parts of your stuff you've been putting out. So I'm very glad to see that's something you're looking to continue to do. Now, you mentioned Degenerate Gaming. Why don't you talk about them? Because I think I remember you telling me the story when you joined them was almost I don't know if you want to say it was a fluke, but you kind of applied almost out of nowhere and kind of found yourself being picked up, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think fluke is absolutely the right word to use. Yeah, it's so at that point, I've been streaming for a little while. I had some experience because I'd started a channel with one of my best friends that I also live with here, and we had been streaming Super Smash Brothers for a while. So I had some like I've been learning about how to do it and working on blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I've been streaming for a little bit, but like I had not been doing much, and honestly, I'd only streamed Magic on that channel like a handful of times. I was doing okay. I saw the video that MTG Nerd Girl posted saying, "Hey, starting this team because I feel like that's a thing that the community needs right now. And we are accepting applications from anyone." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, anyone. Let's test that. Let's test that theory."
Famous last words.
Right? Like I guess not in a I was just like, okay, I might as well go for it, because that would be so cool. Like that would be really cool. What an opportunity. And I had that free time.
Yeah. That free time.
So, right. And I figured if I'm going to do it, if I'm going to send in an application, I'm going to do it in a way that's different from what I would expect people are sending in. And this is I guess this is an old trick that I learned from like high school, and probably and actually definitely with that same group of friends that taught me how to play. If you had a project in school and you said, "Hey, I'm going to do this project, but I'd actually like to do it a little bit in a different way." So for instance, they're like, "Okay, can you do a PowerPoint presentation on the mitochondria?"
Powerhouse
And you go,
cell.
"Hey, all right, yeah, the powerhouse of the cell."
Powerhouse
You're like,
of the cell.
"All right, well, I don't know what else to say other than that it's the powerhouse of the cell, but you know what? I'd like to actually, could I do a song about that?" And every time, teacher, and even professor, I did this in college too, they'd be like, "Yeah, please," because they don't, they're gonna have to sit through like 20 different identical presentations all in the same way, and they're like, "Please give me anything that's different from that." And so you then didn't have to make it quite as good as the other ones.
Yes.
Just because it's different. But I was
big brain moves right there.
Right. That was the hack. I was like, all right, like this can't be this can't be any worse than like a B minus because it's different. So I was like, maybe B minus is good enough for Nerd Girl. Uh, I I just filmed a video, um, talking about like what I had been doing, and I don't know. I made it honest but cheeky, like very self-aware that I did not have the credentials that I'm sure many other people had, or the experience, or I don't know. I knew that I was not going to be the best candidate on paper, so I was just I figured I'd be funny and be honest about that, and maybe by doing a video that would stand out. And it did because she received that email on stream and just said, hey, everybody that's watching, some guy just sent a video application and that's weird, let's watch it.
Oh dang.
Yeah, yeah, it was big old audience that she has, and I guess they ate it up. Actually, I'm not gonna say I guess. I know because vanity. I had to go back. I watched the VOD
Oh yeah,
because
you had to go back
I
and
went
watch.
back.
You would
I had
100%
to
have
go
to
back.
watch.
I
Oh
was
yeah,
like, wait
yeah.
a
That is not
yeah.
vanity. That's just being alive.
Yeah, yeah. And like, okay, so right, so they watched, so she watched it on stream with her viewers, and everybody seemed to enjoy it. So she was like, all right, you know what? Let me message this guy. Let see if he'd like to do an interview right now. Actually, right now, live on stream. So I'm in bed. This for me, because I'm East Coast, she's West Coast, was
Mm,
like 2 a.m. for me. Uh,
jeez.
yeah, I should have been asleep because I think I had work in the morning too. But sometimes your phone exists, and
Yeah.
and so sleep suddenly becomes forgotten. But yeah, I just got a DM, and she was like, hey, got your application, heard you might be interested. It's like, yep, yeah, uh cool, do you want to do an interview right now on stream? I'm like, I don't think I really have a choice here. I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah.
But so I like quickly got out of bed and changed, and like turned my PC back on to get myself set up. And I know it's recorded somewhere, but it was like me super sleepy and like trying to still be entertaining, but also like out of it and not knowing exactly how out there to be at the moment, because it was like it was all just like out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
um yeah, and like it just went from there. That I guess went well, and she was like, cool, we'll bring you on. I was like, "Ah, okay, okay."
Well, it's just a testament to like sometimes you just gotta shoot your shot. Like, what's the worst that can happen? They reject your application. All right, cool. You gave it a chance, and then you move on with your life. There's so many times where it's easy to just not put in the work, not put in the effort, and there's always think back like, man, maybe I should have just tried. Like, who knows? And hey, here you go. Now they picked you up, and I think that was a pretty solid pickup on their part.
I like to think so.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, if for everybody, shoot your shot. If there's one thing I've lived my life by, it's if you got a shot, shoot it. It's
Got a shot.
the only downside is sometimes you'll feel a little uncomfortable about it, but do the thing.
Do the thing. That's yes. Always better to try than not try. There is no try, but try. Just try. It's all right. Just try. Just
Just
try.
try.
Just try. So tell me about Degenerate Gaming. Like, what is it like being on a gaming team? It almost feels like something little me would be like, oh wow, this is awesome. Like, there's like gaming teams when you're gonna be an adult. So what do you guys do? Like, what is the core goal of this team, or what's what do they stand for, I guess, or I don't know. What's it like being on on a gaming streaming team?
Uh, yeah, I mean, first off, I know that little Veggie Wagon mind would have been blown knowing that later he would be on a gaming team. Um, yeah, Degenerate Gaming is awesome. Has been really great. Um, I don't know if we have like a strict like mission statement or anything, but the big things that have been emphasized the entire time that I've been there have been supporting everyone, whether it is just the community, the people that are playing the game and enjoying, the content, the streams, the videos, articles, everything like that, to like your biggest, most popular, personalities.
Mm-hmm.
You've got like you've got MTG Nurgle heading the whole team, and like CGB and Ali Eldrazi and all these people that are streaming every day that people tune into every day, um, and are a big part of their magic, content, entertainment. And then also all the way down to, hey, here's a guy that seems kind of funny and doesn't really have a following, but we think would be someone cool to support, and so many other people in that position. We've got people in the team of all different size followings and all different points in their journey of how magic is part of their life. And we're still figuring out exactly, and I say we, but really it's Nerd Girl figuring out like how to improve that and navigate that, because I know it's something new for her, but um that's always been the big thing. That's always been the big emphasis, is this is something for everybody. All of us supporting each other so that we can bring, I don't know, better things and newer things to people that love this game.
That's great. I've met a few members of you guys. Shout out to that one James, that one James, formerly Charizard James, and Lord Kaiju. Met you guys all at Vegas, which was super cool. And I know in my own little world here, what I've been focusing on, I'm really interested in community building and building bonds between community. So it's great to hear that's kind of what you guys have been doing. I've seen it too. Like, it's been every interaction, every time I've talked to someone or interact with someone, it's been super friendly, outgoing, which I think a lot of times can be hard, or for people on the outside maybe can be a little intimidated by streamers or streaming in general, and just having personalities out there who are willing to interact and be nice and probably give guidance and take a chance on a cosplaying comedian songwriter, I think bodes well for the direction that you guys are going. So that's really cool to hear. I'm really glad. It sounds like you've been enjoying it, and like I said, everyone I've interacted with from the team has been great. So that's good to hear. Slight pivot, but talking about when I actually met all of you guys was out in MTG Vegas, which was kind of the one, I guess, a culmination of timing of possibilities of getting out in the world for a little bit for a lot of Magic players. Um, I had a great time that weekend. It was awesome meeting you. Hashtag Viva la Veggie. I'm glad. I know Covert Go Blue was really the main reason you got out there. But I like to I did my part. Got you out there, so that was great. Um, I think the real highlight though for that show was the costume, the Ragavan costume. So what or how what inspired you to make that like that? What did you stumble across, and what was the moment where you were like, oh yeah, I'm I am Ragavan,
Um, I guess the first thing that happened was I made I made a TikTok. Um, and what I typically post on there is not like I haven't done many like trends or I haven't done many trends. It just was like I just saw it as, oh, here's somewhere cool that I can post my parodies, which is actually tough to find because uh, a lot of places like YouTube will have issues with like copyright stuff, and
Yeah.
TikTok is just different in that way. But anyway, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do I'm gonna do one of these here trends. Let's see how it goes. So there was one going around where it was like posing like it was just people like posing like a thing, and they were doing it to Venom by Eminem. And so I was like, all right, what am I gonna do? I think I just pulled a Ragavan out of a booster or something. I was like, oh, all right, that's funny. I'll just pose like that and say
Good
this is
pull.
why I have no money.
Yeah.
And that's all I did. I didn't have the cosplay at that point. It was I just posed like him and then put the card on the screen. Um and that was the first video that like blew up for me, and I was like, well, that's cool, I guess. That's I you know I that's I was excited to have something with a lot of views and have a lot of new people uh following me at the point. I was a little disappointed. I was like, wait a minute. Pour my pour my heart and soul into these parodies. And then posing like a monkey is my greatest work.
TikTok
But
is it's a TikTok is a cruel mistress, man.
yeah,
You
it's
cannot
so it's
cannot
wild.
understand her ways.
Hmm. But I said to myself, you know what? Well, you take it as it is. If this is what the people want, if this is what's making everybody happy, we're gonna lean into that.
Yep.
Um.
Got to give the people what they want.
All right. So I did more. I was like, all right, I don't really have the money to like put something big together. So let me find the like most budget way to at least make it clear that's who I'm trying to cosplay. Um, and so it was just like, okay, I found some goggles, like some steampunky goggles,
Hmm.
and a like a white spirit hood. So it's just like one of those like furry hoods with the two things that like
Hmm.
hang down.
Yeah.
Um, it's like, all right, you know what? That's we'll start there. And I threw that on and like a white shirt and did a couple other videos and like some streams like that, and people enjoyed it, and I was like, all right, that's what I'm here for. If people are enjoying this, we'll do it. And then all of the Vegas stuff came up, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I gotta go as Ragavan, but I can't get away with just like just the hood and goggles and like random white
Yeah.
t-shirt, that's not gonna work. But I still was like, I still didn't have money for like, I was like, oh, I can't buy a full like white fur outfit.
Yeah.
uh
Not for the middle of the desert in Vegas. That would have been.
oh yeah, also that. But I was just like, I did look into it. I was like, let me see, and it was just not realistic for me. So I was like, okay, we're gonna go. I still gotta go all out. It's still gotta look good, but we're gonna take some liberties here. I was like, white suit. That way, I'm comfortable.
Hmm.
I'll look good, and it's like, okay, that's a funny choice that was made.
Yeah.
And yeah, I found one for that was within my budget, and I was like, done. We're going with it. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show up in Vegas, dressed like a real classy format breaking monkey.
There you go. Yeah. I remember seeing you appear and I was like, oh my gosh. That's when I knew. I was like, I got to be friends with this guy for him to come in this costume. I'm going to force my way into your life one way or another.
Are you kidding, Drew? I'm so glad that you did. I'm so glad that you did.
No lie, when I first saw, I think you and James were over by, I think the prize counter, like looking at the big cards. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
there's Veggie. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go say hi because we had talked on Twitter a little bit. I was so nervous. I felt so ridiculous because I'm, grown man, just like, oh, hi, Mr. VeggieWagon. My name is Drew. It's nice to meet you. Like we spoke on Twitter. Like it was like one of the weirdest things. I was like, but yeah, I'm glad I did because, like I said, you guys were so warm and welcoming. It made my weekend to go because I had a friend come up with me, but he was basically just so I didn't have to drive by myself, and he was just in the our hotel room working. So I was literally by myself, and I figured, it was close. Vegas is close enough to me where I could drive. I was like, well, I'm gonna go, and we'll go by ourselves and see what happens. But being able to meet you and James made a huge difference. Like having people I could kind of talk to and like kind of hang out with, and yeah, it made the world of difference of enjoying myself at that event while I was there. So, but yeah, I won't get over how just remember how nervous I was when I first walked up to you. I was like, oh, hi, it's nice to meet you. Plus, I think you came away with one of the best memories from the event was with your Rickroll video. As someone who is also a connoisseur of Rickrolls, let me tell you, I was so thrilled to see that was actually what you had done, because back in college, anytime I could throw a Rickroll into something, I 100% would. We had my school. I went to UC Irvine, and we had every year a 24-hour Mad Film Dash where you get a prompt and you have 24 hours to write, film, edit, and make a video, right? I think a bunch of schools do this. So I got a bunch of guys together. I'm like, listen, regardless of our prompt, it's going to be a Rickroll. So we got our prompt, and we got some pretty cool prompts. One of them was like superheroes, one was like dramatic, and one was I don't remember, but we took the dramatic one. So we cranked out. I stayed up all day, doing this thing, cranked out this like somewhat dramatic video, just to at the very end slap on a Rickroll. And I was
Yes.
like, and there was a viewing of the videos when they announced the awards, and I knew we weren't going to win anything, but in my head I was like, and they only there was probably about 40 videos submitted, and in my head I was like, I wonder if they'll show mine just because it's a Rickroll. They didn't end up doing it, but to this day I'm proud of myself. I was like, you know what, I can only imagine the faces. I think some of like the film professors were the judges, so I could just imagine them watching this probably poorly written, dramatic short film, only to at the very end have a Rick Astley show up on their screen. So
yes,
and the way you did yours, I thought was ingenious in terms of just telling people, oh, I'm just putting like I would never have guessed like that was what you were going with, which made it 1,000 times better in my eyes. So, I tip my hat to thee, sir. Well done, well done.
Right. Also, now no one is ever going to trust me again at any event.
Oh, I know. It's just that one thing. You get one shot at this,
Right, right.
one opportunity, So I don't think you could have topped. I don't think you made the right choice in what you and with the Rickroll. I think this is going to be it's a legacy thing. You can put that. I'd almost put that on your resume, and even for non-magic things, just Rickroll champion MTG Vegas, 2021. It's
Yeah, that's it. I haven't been sending anything else. I've been just sending a link to that video to potential employers, and that's it. Like, I don't even show up for the interview.
I can only imagine the job offers coming in. They're gonna see that, and they're gonna see this man he's artistically inclined, he's creative, he's innovative. Like, it's the whole package.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
I'll tell you this because like I know I can't pull that off again, or at least not for a long time. I didn't know I didn't know, one, the scope of the event because I had never been to an event like that before,
Mm-hmm.
and two, I didn't know how much time I would have. Like, I didn't know how time intensive doing something like that would be.
Yeah.
So I did have a backup. Because I knew I was going to do that video in the way that I did it, but I was like, what if I get all of that really quickly? Like, there's supposed to be a lot of people at this event, and like, what if suddenly I'm doing it with one person and a bunch of other people are like, oh yeah, let me get in on that.
Yeah.
And I just knocked this thing out like no time. I was also going to do All-Star.
Oh god.
I had the setup ready to do it if we hit that point. Like, it would have it would have been funny, but I am very glad it didn't get to that point because, man, it was a lot of work on both ends, like getting the footage and then putting it together. But I was prepared to do so if if the opportunity arises.
That's funny. Yeah, I can only imagine. Well, I can imagine actually editing, because you shot that out of order too, right? I think you were saying you didn't shoot. Yeah, compiling that must have been quite the undertaking. But again, it just shows the dedication to your craft. It's you don't get that these days. People just don't understand the work that is involved with creating these masterpieces, if you will.
I whatever words you want to use for it. I'm just like, I think it's funny, and turns out some other people think it's funny. So as long as we're making some people happy, it's worth the work.
Hey, you know what?
For whatever it is I'm making.
As long as my philosophy is, I make a lot. I've dabbled in all sorts of weird artistic endeavors, and I just tell myself, you know what? As long as I enjoy doing it, awesome. If there's one person out there who sees it and is like, oh, this is kind of cool, then even better. But as long as you're creating stuff that you can be proud of, I think that's the biggest takeaway as an artist, or whatever you want to call yourself. That's all you can really strive for. That's at the end of the day, you're the one who's putting it all together. So as long as you enjoy what you put out there, that should be the end goal. I wanted to talk to you about your streaming. So you recently just did maybe not so recent. Time is elusive these days. You recently had a 24-hour stream, which in and of itself is an impressive undertaking. Excuse me. But it was for a great cause. It's for Adoptees for Justice. So I wanted to talk to you about what got you interested in doing the stream for the Adoptees, and like what are your what is your like what got you interested to take on a 24-hour stream as someone who goes to bed at 10 o'clock these days, like staying up for a full day. I can't even imagine, but you pulled it off. So I just wanted to kind of like what really pushed you forward to kind of to do this thing?
Well, I mean, straight up, it was it was because I got to go to Vegas. Um, because when I first proposed to the internet that I would I would I would like to go to that event,
Hmm.
I said if I get just enough support to be able to go, I will do a 12-hour stream in for in support of charity. And I'd already had this picked up, but I don't think I had announced what it was. Um and if I get enough support to go comfortably, that I would do 24 hours. I had not really thought about any of the logistics at that point because I was like, hey, yeah, poo poo poo, shoot your shot.
Yeah.
At
Yep.
at this point, I was riding high. I was like, I'm I my Hail Mary to get into a really cool streaming team worked out,
Yeah.
and why not throw some more up there. Um because I was like, okay, maybe like by some crazy happenstance I get to that first one. And like 12 hours, I had done like 10 hours, I think, at most streaming at that point, and that was just like by accident. And I was like, all right, 12 hours, we can do
Yeah.
that, we can do that. And then it was like I got a lot of support from a lot of different people, and I was like, wow, this we might actually hit that first one. I mean, that'd be cool. And then you know, thanks CGB, just kind of jumping it up to that first one. I was like, okay, all right, well, I assume that I hit that goal, and people are gonna be like, cool, we'll get now Veggie gets to go. We won't worry about that anymore. And then, um, clicks. I think Fleeker tweets on Twitter. Like swooped in afterward and was like, "Hey, stoked that you get to go to Vegas. Maybe we should just see that 24-hour charity stream too," and just topped it off. And I was like, "Ooh, all right, here we go." And like I was like, "All right, let me focus on whatever on this cool event first." And then I got back and was like, "All right, how is this gonna work?" Because I'd never tried anything like that before. I'd only ever done one other stream for charity, and that was for No Kid Hungry, and that was like they do a really good job of setting everything up for anybody that for any of the streamers. Like
Uh,
they're like, here's the different assets to add, and we've got the website set up. And yeah, I I I just winged it. I knew, okay, let me call in every favor that I can. Let me shoot some more shots, and I just like DM'd some people that I was like, oh, these people are really cool. And I like some people that I'd met in Vegas, and some people that uh, I don't know, we like had maybe responded to me on Twitter like once or twice, and I was like, cool, that means we're friends.
yeah. There you go.
Right. And people kind of turned out. Um, and yeah, I knew I wanted to support this charity in particular, Adoptees for Justice, because I am adopted. And the the thing they were working on, I actually didn't. It it is funny. It is funny. I'll say it is funny because I encountered something when I was younger that could have been a very big problem for me. Did not realize at all, and that is the cause that they are supporting, is that a lot of the paperwork for adoptees is not done correctly,
Oh.
um, through no fault of their own. And um, and there's a lot of like clerical issues and like government level issues that ultimately results in them not having citizenship, even though they should, and then after because of that issue being like sometimes being deported after really honestly having been a citizen some other than some paperwork issues.
Yeah.
um when I was applying for financial aid for college, that happened.
Oh wow.
They yeah, they said sorry, we actually can't give any financial aid to illegal aliens.
Oh, that's
And
wow.
yeah, yeah, that was their answer when I applied. And I was just a kid. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious because like, oh, okay, well, clearly this is a mistake, and like, haha, what a funny thought for me to have been illegal for my whole life. And my parents just took care of it, and I never thought anything else of it.
Yeah.
But it turns out that's not that's not the case a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Um, and so I knew that was a way that I could give back for that. Just the fact that I was lucky that it wasn't worse, and uh, you know, I was privileged to have parents that had the time and resources to be able to figure that out, and I didn't have to do a thing. Um, yeah, and I was like, I can give 24 hours to that. We're just gonna, whatever happens, happens. If
Yeah.
I pass out in the chair, it's for the people, and that'll be entertaining. Turns out, doing 24 hours, not that bad, as long as you have a good crowd, a lot of some good people to talk to, and some really amazing people that are joining me for all kinds of different things. I did not I didn't struggle until like the last hour and a half, and that was the only time during the whole thing that I had nothing planned.
Oh, all
um
right. Wow.
yeah, I had every other minute scheduled out. And then the last hour and a half, I was like, I can't find anybody that's going to be here during this time. I'll just, what, I'll be fine. I'll play some other games or something. And then like that last bit, I was just like, all right, 10 minutes have passed. Oh God, here we
Time
go.
moving at a snail's
Almost
pace.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's quite the story to hear about, your experience, but the fact that were motivated to kind of give back to others, and that's the kind of thing I like to see with people, like when you have the opportunity to kind of use your position of stature or privilege to be able to kind of give it back. Like that's I think that gets overlooked a lot in terms of like what streamers and content creators kind of do for the community, and it's great to kind of see people going out there and supporting these causes that I had never even would have considered that an issue off the top of my head. Like when you say it to me, like, oh yeah, there's bureaucracy and there's issues with paperwork for adoptees. Like, oh yeah, I could be, oh yeah, that makes sense. This is the society we live in. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of paperwork issues or clerical problems or what have you. But to think about the impact of what that can have on people, maybe who weren't as fortunate as you were in your particular situation, can be scary. And it's
Yeah.
it's it's great to see someone like yourself kind of taking up the call and kind of helping put forward and raise some money for a good cause. So, uh, with that being said, kind of want to I think you've given me more than enough time. Kind of want to wrap things up, but as you have kind of helped your community, one of my goals for this show is to build a better community, or build community within the kind of the worlds that we live in. So, what I am going to do and through the magic of video editing, there will be a little thing that's gonna pop up. So I'm gonna go pop, and it'll probably be up right now if my editing. It's that community board, and one of the things I have been focused on is supporting people who are creators who've come on. So I'm going to be popping on probably whenever I figure out how to get my credit card on Twitch, and I will be subscribing to your Twitch stream. So the show and tell show, you will be added to my, you know, part of the show and tell community, which is basically, you know, just very small at the moment, but as a way I can kind of support you as you support others. That'll be my, you know, that is my goal with what I'm trying to do here, and so I look forward to being able to do that. I'll try to do it when you're on. I think you tend to stream a little later in the day, but I'll try to pop in, and hopefully you'll see that. You know, I need that dopamine rush of when you get the notification and you say my name, and it's like, ah, yes, Mr. Streamer, like Mr. or Mrs. Streamer, person streamer, like you saw me, and you said my name, and I was acknowledged for that second and a half. It's like, ah, yes, it makes my day. So I will get that going. And Veggie, again, I just want to thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with me, and just talking to me about, you know, what you do, and just some of your background, and you know, what really makes you tick as a creator. And I look forward to hopefully getting a game with of Commander with you over spell table. I have my spell table like set up, but I have like, I don't know if it's just because I'm shy, but like even just playing with random people, I'm just like, I haven't jumped in to like, you know, just to get a game in. So I'll have to get that going one of these days. But again, Veggie, thank you so much for coming on, and I look forward to seeing. You have a preview card. I shouldn't say the date because it puts me on a time frame to get this edited quickly. But I do know you have your first preview card coming up, which is fantastic. I don't, you know, if there's someone who has earned it, you definitely have. So I look forward to that, and I look forward to seeing whatever else you're looking to create, and what you put out there next.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate all of that so much. I've got some big things coming. It's gonna be a wild year. And also, like, just, you know, thanks. I hope you also realize that, like, all of this is so helpful and reassuring to me. Like, just like having you come up to say hello in Vegas, and like, yeah, you know, it sounds like you felt kind of weird about it from your end, but like it didn't seem that way to me. And it was, for me, I was like, oh, thank God, like somebody that's just like gonna be normal about this and like just say hi and try and hang out. It's like, because and yeah, that's a simple version. Like it means a lot to me to have, you know, to have you ask me to you know, onto your show to talk about stuff, and to just like chill and talk. And yeah, you know, you can always DM me for a game too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you,
I feel weird. I feel that anxiety of like playing with other people too. So yeah, it's
just gotta pretend. I just tell myself, just pretend not to be shy. That's all. You know, that's this whole time right now. Pretend that you were a good host of the show. I don't have to be if I pretend. So, but let me tell you, Veg, if I have never met a more genuine person than you, so it has been an honor to be able to meet you and call you a friend. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you again soon in person, when the world's a little less crazy, and definitely playing some Magic either in person or over the computer one of these days.
yes, all of it.
All right, and never forget, Viva la Veggie.
Woo!